Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Cindy Donaldson Show. I am your host, Cindy Donaldson. I'm a certified high performance coach, bucket list obsessed, full time RVer, and I am on a mission to ensure that everyone in my circle learns how to not only create, but live their life by design. So, today I want to dive into a little bit about what I wrote about in my email this morning, which is keeping promises to yourself. I have broken a ton of promises to myself over the years, and I know I'm not alone. Everybody does it. But I've learned some huge lessons over the past 18 months when it comes to this. And my email this morning talked about a health journey that I am going through. When I was in my 50s, I was in the best health of my life. My doctor prided herself on saying that I was the healthiest patient that she had, that my blood work was always spot on. I was working out, I was running, I was at a very healthy weight. Hell, I had abs. It was amazing. And at that time, I promised myself I would never go back to where I was before. I'd always been overweight. I'd always struggled with it. I always struggled with the food noise and not exercising, and my blood pressure was high. I had all the things going on. And I worked very hard to get to where I was when I was 50. And over the years, some of the weight came back on, the classic things like menopause and changes of, we moved away from my gym and we had a home gym. I mean, there was a lot of things going on, but it was always manageable. And I'll be honest, I have never been happy with my body. I've always had that body dysmorphia thing going on. And, growing up in the 60s and 70s where everybody was always super skinny and I was built like a farm girl, and I wasn't fat back in high school. I mean, I weighed 135 pounds. I'm not a skinny mini little girl. And I was super healthy back then. But compared to the other people who were Twiggy models, I wasn't. And so I got picked on and bullied. And that kind of sticks with you for a very long time. And I'm sharing that because this making promises to yourself, especially when it comes to your health, old triggers stick with you. Fast forward to the past couple of years where I put on a lot of weight. I put on about 40 pounds, and it was due to a lot of personal stressors that were happening in our lives. We kind of had to stop traveling, even though we were still living in our RV. We were stationary at family members' houses. Dave's dad got sick and passed away. It was just a lot. And my health just didn't seem important. Beyond that, we were around family members that didn't eat like we did. And so we kind of got into the habit of, well, if you can't beat them, join them. And a lot of those old bad habits just snuck in, like the late night snacking on a bag of potato chips. We definitely stopped being vegan. I 100% stopped going to the gym. Um, but I was kidding myself because I would go to the gym every once in a while. I would go for a walk every once in a while. I would eat a protein shake every once in a while, but I was not making my health my number one priority. And I didn't really, even though I knew I wasn't being healthy, I wasn't really recognizing how bad it was until I went to get some photos done. I needed some new headshots. Mine were a couple years old. I'd gotten new glasses. I just wanted to refresh, and I was doing some new marketing for some of my programs. And I ordered some new outfits on Amazon, got a bigger size because I knew that, I had put on some weight, but I'd been living in sweatpants and workout clothes. Like, I don't know, maybe it made me feel better. I was like, I'm going to get up and put on my workout clothes and maybe I'll go to the gym or something. But those things are stretchy. So it wasn't until I ordered a bunch of clothes and went to try them on and really looked in the mirror. A lot of those larger clothes that I bought didn't fit. And I had to buy even larger ones. And I went and got the headshots done and I didn't love them. And there were a lot of tears around it. So I was like, okay, I've hit rock bottom. Like, I've got to change this. And so I went back to my functional medicine doctor. I got all the blood work done. I was like, it's got to be high cortisol levels. It's got to be all this. And I was making all these excuses. Oh, it's my thyroid meds are out of whack, or I don't know. Like I made all the excuses and I started putting band-aids on things. Like I worked with a health coach. I know how to do what I needed to do. Yet I would do it for a few days. And because I wasn't seeing instant results and I was so depressed about my situation, I just kept giving up. I kept breaking that promise over and over and over again, which of course made me more depressed, which of course didn't help the weight loss, which of course pushed me back to emotional eating. Until about a month ago, I had a breakthrough. And I've talked a lot about this with my mentor, and I talked a lot about it with my doctor as well. And, both of them are like, Cindy, you're in a very stressful situation. And the more you stress about it, the less it's going to work. And you keep putting yourself in this mindset that you have to do this and that, you're going to lose the weight like you did when you were 40 and 50. And that's just not true. I mean, I'm 60. It's not going to happen that way. And it's going to require you to really be honest with yourself. Like, what do you want? And so I was putting all of this pressure on myself. And of course, the scale just kept going up. I kept failing. I'd be like, screw it, give me the bag of potato chips. Or I would justify it. Oh, I went for a walk today. I'll have, a cheeseburger or whatever. About a month ago, like I said, something completely shifted in my mind. And it had to do with my outlook on making myself my number one priority. So I just stopped feeling guilty about the self care. And more importantly, I started recognizing what really happened and those triggers. Now, my mentor had been telling me over and over again, Cindy, you're in a stressful situation. You haven't been able to go outside and be in what he calls my sanctuary, which is nature. And your mindset is around that you have to do this versus you get to do it. And you aren't appreciating all the things that you do. You're not patting yourself on the back for the little wins. Instead, you're focusing on these big ass goals. And because you can't accomplish them in a day, you're not being realistic. So you're in this downward spiral and it's going to keep going. And of course, Dave kept telling me the same thing. Everybody's telling me the same thing. Yet for some reason, I thought that, well, I'm Cindy. I'm incredibly driven. I made this promise. I'm just going to do it. But seriously, like my soul and my mind just wasn't ready to do it. It is that simple and that crazy, but I wasn't ready. So back to about a month ago, I've been back in the RV now for several months. We're out here in Arizona. I've been back hiking again. And has it been hard? Yeah, because I've gained some weight and climbing up mountains isn't easy when you put on an extra 40 pounds. But the more I do it, the easier it happens. I started really tracking and being conscious of the food that I eat. Instead of having a negative relationship with food, I'm not. Like I'm not being 100% vegan, and I don't think that's bad. I'm testing the waters again. I went back to when I was 50, when I was super successful. What did I do then? One, my mindset was like, this is a game. And I love a challenge and I love a game, but I'm doing it in a positive way. Like I'm checking off, like when I, you know, track everything that I eat. And I'm not denying myself any kind of food. On St. Patrick's Day, I had whiskey, I had beer, I had chocolate cake, I had corned beef and cabbage. I did all the stuff and I didn't gain any weight. I went to the gym the next day. For a walk. Like I love going to the gym now again. Like used to be such a gym rat. I love getting my steps in. My health insurance company rewards me 75 cents a day if I do 30 minutes of exercise and get, you know, over 5,000 steps. Okay, that's a win. I'm tracking my sleep. I get paid from my insurance company if I get good sleep. So I'm focusing on those numbers and it's really fun for me. Like I like it. Have I lost a few pounds? Absolutely. I've lost a few pounds. My clothes are fitting better. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is I'm feeling better about the journey. And I know that my weight is going to fluctuate. And I know that this is a long-term thing. It is not a quick fix. There's no diet here. This is a lifestyle change that I already know how to do. And I want to get back to, and I am getting into again. And I'm feeling amazing about myself. I'm feeling really good about it. And I don't feel bad when I'm hiking up a mountain and I have to stop and catch my breath. And Dave's, just wandering along. Like I watch my heart rate, and if it's getting up around 150 or plus, I slow down. And I don't feel bad about that. I used to be like, why can't I do this? Why can't I do this? Or back at the gym, like I used to, when I first started on like a mile on the treadmill, not that I was gasping for air, but it was a little harder, right? Now I do 30 minutes with an incline, and it's pretty easy. And and I'm hoping to get back into running again. The point of this is making a promise to yourself and then breaking that promise to yourself. Oftentimes there's environmental things going on as to why you did it. And I've been really open with the fact that I have ADHD. I'm the queen of starting new projects and not finishing them. I can't even tell you how many projects that I've started. I have shiny object syndrome. Like I'm like, oh my God, that looks like fun. And then I get it, and then it becomes overwhelming. And then I do this with books. I have a ton of books in my Kindle. I'll start reading, like, okay, that's not interesting to me anymore. And I'll stop. And sometimes I'll go back and do them. And that's okay. I used to feel like really bad about that shit. I don't anymore. But if you're breaking, like, those things are minor, but if you're breaking big promises to yourself, and I have a family and there's a lot of addiction in that family, and I kind of compare my health journey to that, right? Those are big promises. And so when you let yourself down there, the secret is to find out why, learn from it, and then let it go. The past is the past. You can't change it. You can learn from it. You can't change it. The future, you can't predict it. You have no way of knowing what's going to happen. The only thing you can control is in the moment and being incredibly present there and being incredibly present, for yourself. So that's my big lesson. The health journey thing, if that's what you're in right now, you've got to give yourself some grace. You've got to heal that relationship with food. Have I healed it completely? Hell no, I haven't. I'm still an emotional eater. I still feel guilty when I eat some things, but I'm working on getting better at it and saying that, restrictive things, it just doesn't work with me. As soon as you tell me I can't have something, my mind immediately goes to, I want to have it. So I eat the cake, I enjoy it, I track it, so I know that I did eat it. I don't hide the fact that I ate it. It's just there. It's just a piece of cake. I ate the cake. I had a glass of beer. I had a shot of whiskey. I had it. Nobody's going to die. It's not going to ruin my entire health journey. And you can adopt that mindset in anything that you're doing in life, those promises that you make. And it's okay to start over. It's okay to start over. The 75 hard thing, I mean, I'll share this. Dave and I were like, we'll do 75 hard. I think we lasted a couple days. And the thing with 75 hard, if you don't do everything, you have to start over. And we started over a couple times. And then I was like, okay. Now, Andy Frisella would argue with me. He would say, you just keep starting over and starting over. But then I realized it was not important to me. Like, I didn't really want it badly enough. Kind of going back to this weight loss thing. When I was going through all of the stuff and we weren't traveling, it obviously wasn't that important to me. And I wasn't recognizing all the triggers that were kind of preventing it from being important to me. But when something is truly, truly important to you, like you value it above anything else, that promise is easier to keep. So be very careful, when you do, like, I promise myself I am never going to, first of all, don't ever say never, because life is going to happen, right? And if you do slide back, again, you're just going to learn and you're going to move on. I make it sound really simple. It's not that simple. But this is 100% mindset. You can accomplish hard things. You can do hard things. You can start over. I've worked with people who have been, multimillionaires and then have lost it all and had to start over. I've had to start over a couple times in my life. when it comes to finances and business. I've had to start over with relationships. I've had to start over with my health journey. I've had to start over with a lot of things. And if you beat yourself up over bumps in the roads and things that you should have done differently, you're missing the whole journey of life here. I am far from perfect. I beat myself up, and that's what was happening. That's why I wasn't getting any forward motion, and that's why I was completely miserable. And the more I beat myself up, the more depressed I got, the more miserable I got, and it wasn't working. So giving yourself grace is so incredibly important here. It's so incredibly important. All right, this is a short one this week. But if you're not on my email list, please get on it because I do send it out twice a week. You can get on the list at www.cindy-donaldson.com. There's a million places to subscribe to that. You can also check out my coaching programs that are coming up. I have several launching in May of 2024. And as always, I offer a free strategy call. So if there's something on your mind and you're not sure if coaching is right for you, just grab a spot on my calendar. We can flesh it out. I'm not for everybody, and I will be honest and tell you that. So coaching is such a personal thing. Some people really align with my thinking and like who I am, and others it's just, I'm not a fit, and that's okay. It's okay. But I appreciate you being here and check in on those promises that you're making to yourself. Be careful when you slide backwards. Give yourself some grace. It's okay to start over, and understand that your greatest successes in life are going to be when you identify that it is really, really important to you. And at this season in my life, my health is my number one priority. So I can live into my 3 words of being vibrant, living my life peacefully, and filled with joy. So have a great week. We'll see you next week. Bye.